Mother's always complaining that I have a mouth that would embarrass a sailor. But there's just nothing quite the same in one big old F-bomb to convey what kind of point you're trying to get across. I know, paraphrase George Carlin, can be used as a noun, an adjective, an adverb, a verb. I mean, it can be used interchangeably for everything in the English language. So while I know it's not exactly the best manners, it definitely gets a point across. And sometimes you just have to drop an F-bomb. But there's a huge difference between dropping an F-bomb once in a while because you're upset or you want to accurately get across what kind of mood that you're in, than having what I refer to as an FU attitude. An FU attitude is not a good difference in having a high opinion of yourself and thinking highly of yourself and really valuing yourself and being a good person and just being a big fat bitch to everybody around you saying F you, buddy. An FU attitude is one that basically tells people that you really just hate everyone. You hate them, you hate the world, you hate everything about them, which then conversely turns it around and lets everyone know how much you hate yourself too. Which kind of sucks. Sorry, it's that big old love others as you love yourself. If you can't love yourself, then you sure as heck can't love anybody else either, now can you? So how do you fix that? How do you fix that big old FU attitude? I have some herbs and methods that I'd like to talk to you about. Now, there is an oil for that. That's right, there's an oil for that FU attitude. So, that oil for the FUU is frankincense. Ha, way to remember it. FU, frankincense, for you. So, a little bit about frankincense. Frankincense is actually the dried sap of the trees in the Boswellia genus. That doesn't mean squat to you people, I know this. And it didn't mean squat to me either. But frankincense actually comes from some trees that grow in dry climates, like through the Mideast and parts of India. And Boswellia actually looks like a really crappy, shitty tree. It does. It's just a shitty tree. You know, growing up in Ohio, we have a lot of huge, huge trees. We're just not used to a tree that kind of looks like it's half dead being beneficial for something. But Boswellia is a wonderful tree. It gives us frankincense, which is super, super fragrant. Frankincense has been shown to have certain medicinal properties. There's a lot of studies available on PubMed about the antimicrobial properties, the antifungal properties, that sort of thing that frankincense has. So it's a good oil to use. Also, it's been referred to as olibanum, and it has an age-old history of being used in various religious services and for deep thought meditation, that kind of thing. You know, the Catholic Church burns frankincense. That's that stuff they stick in that little swinging ball that the priest swings around or the deacon swings around at Easter. It's what they use to bless things. So if you think about it, you have an FU attitude, right? You hate everyone. How do you get rid of that? You want to relax, meditate, and become more deep within yourself. So, good way to do that, use some frankincense. Frankincense oil is said to immediately induce feelings of peace, relaxation, and satisfaction. You're supposed to add a couple of drops of frankincense oil to a hot bath for stress relief. You can put it in a diffuser and diffuse it in your room while you sleep at night. You've seen those little diffuser necklaces. Here's a little cheap tip, a frugality tip on my part. Those diffuser necklaces usually come with some expensive cotton piece in there that they say you have to order from them to refill, and you only get 5 when you buy the necklace, blah, 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 blah. Go to the dollar store and pick up a tube of those makeup rounds. They're about yay big, the round cotton makeup rounds, and just cut them to fit inside your necklace, or roll them up and shove them inside the tube kind, because that's going to save you some money. You don't need anything fancy for this. You can take cotton balls, put some frankincense on it, and tape it to the top of your ceiling fan blades. Voila, diffusier. So definitely use some frankincense, because frankincense is good for the mood. It's good for the psyche, and it helps to relax and relieve anxiety, which takes the edge off that whole FU. So another herb that I like to use is yarrow. Now, yarrow is one of those that's said to be carried around by Achilles so that he could treat the wounds of his soldiers. For you that know your Greek history, Achilles was a huge general who was impervious to wounds because he was held by his heel, where the Achilles tendon inserts. He was held by his heel and dipped into the magical river Styx by his mother so that he would be impervious in battle. Until, I forget, some dude shot him in the back of the heel and killed him. Like that'll work. However, yarrow is an herb that he is said to have carried around with him through battles in order to treat his soldiers' wounds. Yarrow is an herb that is used to staunch bleeding. So if you have a wound that is bleeding profusely, they tell you historically that you could use lots and lots of yarrow to get that bleeding to stop. Women who have heavy periods, in some herbal journals, it suggests that they use yarrow to staunch the bleeding, to keep it from becoming such a problem. But there have also been a few studies that look at the use of yarrow for mood improvement. Now, I haven't found any hard and fast numbers, but there have been some people looking at it. And it is something that would warrant more research. And yarrow's not going to hurt you. The worst thing that you're going to get from yarrow is an upset stomach. So if you get a little squeezy, it's quite possible that yarrow's not an herb for you. But yarrow works great. It has properties that help to brighten the mood just a bit. And anything that'll make you feel a little happier is worthwhile using to try to get rid of some of that FU-ness. Another one that I like to use is ashwaganda. And I know I can't say enough about it, but that, as well as eulithero, which is sometimes listed on supplement labels as Eleutherococcus. Those both are two of my absolute favorite, what they call adaptogens that help with dealing with stress. If you want to get a whole trifecta of stress management herbs, my third favorite would be something called rhodiola, which I believe they also call it Icelandic moss, something like that. Don't take me 100% on that one. But look for rhodiola. Those three help to deal with stress and the feelings of anxiety and just general all-out burned outness that come from adrenal stress and tension. So definitely good ones to look into. And if you put those with yarrow, it'll help. I'm not a doctor, I can't tell you to take it, but I'm saying that I would bet you dimes to donuts it would help that whole FU attitude that you're carrying around. People tell me all the time that herbs aren't going to fix everything, and oils aren't going to fix everything. And they're right. Not everyone has just the one magic bullet that fixes everything. It's not going to work that way. Every situation is different, and every person is different, and it takes a combination of things to find the right balance for you. So what I like to add in are flower essences. They help, especially with emotional issues. So I'm going to list somewhere around here. I'm still getting the hang of editing video, so please bear with me. But I'm going to list a website where you can go check out the Bach flower essences. The Bach flower essences. So this dude, Bach, was a physician, and I don't remember the entire story right off, and forgive me, I didn't go look it up again before I recorded this. He was out and about, and he was admiring the flowers in nature, and for some reason he received some sort of inspiration, and I don't remember why, but he took these flowers and he soaked them in brandy and made an extract out of the flowers, and then took that and diluted it down in the same manner that homeopathic medicines are diluted. So it was, the brandy was considered the mother tincture, it was added in with water and what they called succused, which means like, like beat against your hand or something, shook. It was shook up, that kind of thing. And then, he then used those flower essences to treat various emotional complaints in a homeopathic type manner. And flower essences are safe for everyone. There's not a one that I know of that is based off of a poisonous plant or anything. Some homeopathic medications, or remedies, I should say, not medications in the United States. They're not prescription in the United States. They are considered remedies, and you can pick them up at your pharmacy and or health food store, and sometimes Walmart. But homeopathics sometimes are made with some things that could be deadly, like belladonna, which you wouldn't want to eat. But they're diluted down to such a minute point that they think the way that in which they work is that they trigger a tiny bit of immune response. Like, say if it were a plant that normally would produce nausea and vomiting, it would trigger, diluted down to barely any minute or any part of that plant left in the remedy. They give it to you when you're starting on the flu, which would be a little bit of nausea and vomiting, and they give you this remedy, and it's supposed to trigger your body's response to fight off the nausea and vomiting. Okay, stuff like that. So the flower essences, as far as I can tell, no one's really 100% sure if that's how they work. And personally, I don't care if that's how they work. I have seen them work. I've done sneaky trials on my own kids, give them some flower essences and see if they work, and I see improvement. There is a blend that I like that Nature Sunshine has called anger releasing. Normally, if you have the big old F you attitude going on, you're angry. You're angry at yourself. You're angry at everyone else. We covered this. We know this, right? So you need to release this anger in a healthy manner so you can quit being all fuck you to the world. No one likes to be shit on, and you don't need to be sitting there shitting on yourself all the time either. So we use something like the anger releasing formula to help get a handle on those types of emotions. And I will definitely put a list up of the ingredients and give you a link so that you're able to find it and order some for yourself, hopefully. So give it a try, look around, and just remember, a fuck you attitude doesn't fuck anyone but yourself. So quit fucking doing it. Have a good night. And when you're doing this stuff, don't forget relaxation techniques. Things like yoga, tai chi help to center, calm, relax, and teach you breathing patterns. In psychology, they teach you that just learning how to control your emotional response to things helps in altering your mood. Hence, that's why biofeedback works, like monitoring your reaction to certain stressors. So, learning to breathe in with the good, out with the bad. And hey, what about Reiki? Reiki and therapeutic touch are wonderful tools in helping to rid oneself of terrible emotions. They help to calm, center, and relax. And if you want to know more about Reiki, I'll have some more coming on my website with a blog here real soon. So be checking out herbchickonline.com. I am attuned to about half dozen different types of Reiki, which is confusing at best to those who aren't familiar with it. Just know that I like to consider myself a channel of energy. So, but just be open to it. Be open to other forms of relaxation and mood altering that doesn't require taking a pill, smelling a scent, swallowing a liquid. Getting rid of that attitude isn't helped by prescriptions. It isn't helped by medications. It isn't helped by anything but you wanting to get rid of it.